think then about a cop attacking someone for recording them? And what if they defend themselves against you when you come
can't.
to... What's that?
You can't.
No,
If
I
tell
can
you're
assure
under
you.
arrest,
I can
right?
assure you that they
Right.
physically can. That humans
Right.
are physically capable of defending against your attack. Now the question is,
Correct.
what happens then?
You're gonna lose. Okay, you're gonna lose.
Meaning that you'll escalate it up to anything, including death.
Whatever force.
So you'll always
listen,
win,
this is
right?
very clear. I will always win. I always go home to my family.
In no way is this video intended to encourage anyone to defend against an unlawful attack by law enforcement. It is only to point out that there is absolutely nothing so petty that police aren't willing to murder you over it. It is to point out that even when police are wrong, their ego won't allow them to see it, and their training has taught them that they must always go home, even if it means an innocent person has to die. It is to point out that even in a situation so petty as them deciding where they want you to stand, you can either submit and comply or die. But first, huge thanks to Private Internet Access for sponsoring today's video. We all know that when the police show up and want to search your home or your car, the answer is no. Get a warrant. And it's not because you're doing something wrong, it's because you understand that you have a right to privacy, but that it is your responsibility to assert that right. The same thing applies when you're using your phone or your computer to surf the internet. Your privacy is your responsibility. Nobody out there is going to care more about your online privacy than you and our sponsor for today's video, Private Internet Access. The government doesn't care. The FBI just admitted to buying your information rather than getting probable cause to get a warrant. And T-Mobile just announced yet another data breach where hackers were able to obtain customers' driver's licenses, social security numbers, date of births, and more. Private Internet Access hides your IP address and sends your data through an encrypted tunnel so that hackers, government, and corporations can't get a hold of it. Besides that, Private Internet Access has proven time and time again in court that they do not keep logs of your data and activity, which means that if government or hackers do try to get your information from Private Internet Access, there just isn't any. Now here's the cool thing, when you connect to your VPN, you can connect to the geographical location of your choice, which is important because it can save you more money than you'll ever spend on this product. And here's how. Streaming platforms such as Hulu, Netflix, and others have content available based on your geographic location. Content that may be free in the UK and Australia, you may have to pay for in the US, and vice versa. So you can log into the location that you need to access the entertainment that you want. You can connect an unlimited number of devices with just one plan, and by using the link in the description and the pinned comment below right now, you can get 83% off and pay only $2.03 per month, plus get 4 months free. By clicking the link and signing up, you get an incredible service at an unbeatable price while simultaneously supporting the channel. Huge thanks to Private Internet Access for sponsoring this video. On January 19th, 2023, Amanda was traveling down the road when she spotted a Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputy initiating his emergency lights to pull someone over for suspicion of not wearing a seatbelt. So she pulls over to record the interaction.
We got car number 84170 PBSO.
Another unit arrives, not to help with the seatbelt citation, but because Amanda is recording, and cameras are super scary. Notice in this clip that another person is walking by on the sidewalk on the right side of the road, but this person is not a concern because they don't have a camera. Notice also that the backup officer is in no way fazed by Amanda's presence or her camera. But the original officer is super scared.
Hey man, listen, I don't care about you recording, but stand on the other side, don't walk around here. 2015 black Mercedes utility. Wanted person. FCIC clear.
That's just it. I'm come here. Like I said, I don't care about you recording, but when you start interfering like that and walk behind officers, and I told you that I gave you I gave you a lawful order to step back, and you continue to not do it, so you go to jail for it. Okay? So you want to?
Or anything like that? No, ma'am. Just put your feet on me a little bit.
You're not playing that game. No, it ain't.
While in the back seat of the patrol car, Amanda passes out. EMS is called and Amanda is transported to Good Samaritan Medical Center, where she's treated for heat exhaustion and an irregular heartbeat. Throughout the entire 8-hour stay at the hospital, she remained handcuffed. She said this about her experience at the hospital with the deputy.
There was a point in time as I laid inside of my hospital room with my t-shirt pulled up underneath my neck, with my bare chest exposed, that Deputy Jason Murphy was left alone in the room with me. At that point, I felt very vulnerable and embarrassed. As a woman, this was one of the most embarrassing and degrading moments of my entire life. I was maliciously prosecuted by the state of Florida for 4 months. After my motion to compel discovery, the state just dropped my charges. They would not release the footage of myself behind Deputy Jason Murphy's patrol car. Deputy Jason Murphy unlawfully kept my cell phone for 4 months. After I won my motion to return private property, I received my phone with this video on it.
Shortly after arresting Amanda for recording him on a traffic stop, Deputy Jason Murphy was given an award by Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office for Deputy of the Year. What do you think then about? What do you think then about a cop attacking someone for recording them, and the person recording defending themselves against the cop attack?
Okay, so actually I just dealt with one of these. So recording is pretty simple. We all have the right to record, 100%, right? We've seen this all over YouTube. I'm sure you've seen it. Everybody's seen this. You have the right to record whatever you want. But it can't interfere with whatever the cop is doing at the time. So if you're standing on the sidewalk and you're 20 yards away from me and I'm dealing with something, you can stand there with your cell phone all day long. You can't walk over. You can't come close to me because now I got to deal with whether or not you're going to be an aggressor versus I'm dealing with another bad guy, right? So whatever's reasonable and necessary. So if I tell you to stay back by the sidewalk and you can record all you want, that's fine. You can't shine flashlights in the cops' faces because you want to get a better video, because now I can't see what I'm doing, and the safety-wise, that throws that right out the window. You can't talk to the bad guy like, hey, don't comply. What are you doing? Why were you pulled over? Because that interferes with my investigation because I'm talking to him, and now he's talking to you. So you can't interfere. You can videotape, but you cannot interfere. So it's very simple. Now, if you're 20 yards away and you got a cell phone in your hand, I'm dealing with a guy. I'm not going to walk, me personally, I'm not going to walk over and just snatch the phone out of your hand, obviously, or arrest you for interfering, because that's not interfering. You're over there 20, 30 yards away. I'm fine with that. And law states you can. But you can't be 5 feet away where now I got to keep an eye on you and keep an eye on the bad guy, and you're hindering me, right? You're hindering me during my lawful investigation as a cop. Does that make sense?
So them being 5 feet away, what is the distance then?
There's no distance. Reasonable, necessary. There's no 8 feet. I know they were trying to pass a law that said you had to be like 20 feet. There's nothing that I know of that says there's a certain amount of feet. I'm just telling you me personally, whatever I feel comfortable to where I can still investigate. So I'm just telling you, if you're like 20 yards away and I'm dealing with a guy, and I can see you, and I can see him, and I can see your hands, and all you have is a cell phone, I'm probably going to be okay. If you're 5 feet away, I'm not okay with it.
What about
because
8?
you can very easily close that gap. No, 20. Tell you, like 20 yards, 20 is what I'm good with, which is what, 60 feet.
You're saying that you would likely attack someone if they were less than 20 feet or 20 yards away from you.
I don't think I used the word attack, so hold on a second. I never used the word attack, right?
Okay.
I didn't say that.
What word would you use then?
If they're too close to where they're interfering with the investigation, and I tell them to get back or get away or stop shining a light in my eyes or whatever the case may be, that's interfering with my investigation. If I warn them about that and then I tell them to stop and they don't, I'm going to arrest them for resisting arrest without violence, which falls under the whole hindering me during my lawful investigation.
And what if
But there's a lot of scenarios, there's a lot of things that come into play, right? I got to be able to articulate why, and that's it.
Right. And what if they defend themselves against you when you come
can't.
to... What's that?
You can't.
No,
If
I can assure you.
Arrest,
I can
right?
assure you that they
Right.
physically can. That humans are
Right.
physically capable of defending against your attack. Now the question is,
Correct.
what happens then?
Okay, so let me back up a second because now you're trying to turn it into like an attack. If I'm placing you under lawful arrest, I have probable cause for your arrest, you cannot, very clearly, resist my arrest. You cannot fight me because you're just going to escalate it. You're going to lose. Okay, you're going to lose.
Meaning that you'll escalate it up to anything, including death.
Whatever force.
So you'll always
listen,
win,
this is
right?
very clear. I will always win. I always go home to my family. So the bottom line is...
What if
I
somebody
will use
realizes
my
that
force-
you have that mentality and then decides to use deadly force as soon as you start approaching them because you just articulated that you will always use deadly force even when you're wrong?
You keep using the word attack. I keep using different words. So you're trying to twist this for whatever reason. We were having a debate, which I don't mind talking to you. I'm not giving you legal advice, but we're debating this, which I'm already doing way more than what I'm obligated to do anyway because I'm talking to you. And now you're twisting it into where if you come over to make an arrest on me and it's not lawful, I have the right to use deadly force. No, you don't. No, you don't. And I guarantee you 1,000% I will win. So I don't know how you could take that any clearer than what I'm telling you. I will go home to my family and my kids before I let you kill me because you don't think you should be arrested for a misdemeanor. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it makes sense. It
Okay,
means
so
that when
that's
you
all we have to
decide,
do.
wait a second,
Right.
just to clarify, it means that when you decide that you are going to make an arrest, whether that arrest is lawful or unlawful, you are willing to make that arrest and you are willing to use deadly force if that person does not submit to the arrest.
I will use what force is reasonable and necessary to effect an arrest. Supreme Court ruling. Does that make sense?
Sure does. Criminals will continue to commit crimes as long as they know they can get away with it. And in the United States, we have set a solid precedent of letting cops get away with crimes.